Man, I am so proud of how this team fought back. I don't think I've ever been on a team from Little League to, I played 3 sports in high school, to college ball. I don't think I've ever been on a team that's faced this much adversity. And being down, I think, what were we down, 28-3 at one point, and 34-10 at half, and to come back and make it a game is just an unbelievable testament to these guys. And just, you know, a lot of adversity this season. More than I asked, even, you know, since I'm so young, I asked some of the other guys on staff who've coached a long time. I said, have you ever seen this much adversity for one group? And they said, no, never. So unbelievably proud of these kids. You know, we talked about, you know, you throw the record out the window. You know, this is about you know, playing and competing and getting better, and that's what it's about. There's a ton of things that go into building a football program, and we were honoring our 1990 championship team today, and what a great group. But when this thing's built up and running, they ought to honor the teams that are on the first hard years through the adversity for Cornell football. So, you know, that kind of big approach. Short approach, obviously you can't dig yourself in such a hole. Self-inflicted wounds hurt us. Brown's very good for sure, but, you know, as you saw, when even in spite of injuries, we had guys really step up, you know, to make plays. But we handed them 14 points for sure with a miscommunication, you know, penalty, you know, not play through it, whatever, and then obviously a fumble. So gave that away, which was a big factor, because when we came back, you know, then it would have been a much different game. So that's kind of how the afternoon went.
Questions?
Offense rushed for 260 yards in those number of years. What do you credit
What's the stat on that? When I was a sophomore, I think we rushed for 275 against Towson. Has anything been
most games since 2009?
Since 2009?
We went 280 against 40.
I got you. Well, you know, I think that it's a great operation start to finish. Great scheming. Coach Esteban is really talented at scheming the run game with our offensive coaches. And then you got the big guys up front. We call them the 5 strong. Certainly paving the way against a Brown team that perennially doesn't give up a lot of rushing yards. And I thought off of film, I thought they had an excellent defensive line. And our offensive line really came and rose to the equation. And then you see guys making yak. You know, you certainly saw the real Jack Ladley making yak out there, and Josh Sweet, and Jadis had a big one, and Dane Brown. You know, so guys filling in for the absence of one of the school's all-time greatest players, Luke Hagee. So I think it was a total team effort to be able to run the ball like that.
Jack, what did you see out of the rush defense or the rush for what you did?
Yeah, just obviously to echo Coach Archer, it all obviously starts with offensive linemen, and I know at least when I was in there, I was seeing big holes, big cutting lanes, at least from them, and then I think it helps when, you know, like you said, when Hagee goes down, that kills us. He's such a versatile athlete, and that's hard, but, you know, the rest of us, the 3 of us, Dane, Josh, and I, we were doing everything we could this week to work to do our job, and I think a little versatility. Dane was looking quick out there, made some really nice cuts, and then Josh and I, you know, probably a little more downhill style, so mixing it up, I think, helped us, but definitely started up front, a lot of movement.
Coach, you seem to, in the first half, when Robert was maybe a little bit more uneven and overthrowing guys, you seemed to give Jake a lot of time there, and once the running game kind of picked up, there seemed to be an improvement in Robert's game in that he was stepping up in the pocket and scrambling and throwing balls away to avoid sacks.
There's no question. I mean, the things that we, you know, have harped upon him that he must execute, you saw some of those today. You know, you'd see him step up for the rush, he scrambled for one first down, 2 first downs, and you know, really did some nice things. So I think that we just got to continue to find the right formula, if you will, to make sure everybody's, you know, comfortable doing what they're doing, and we can start that formula when the game starts, not in the second quarter at halftime.
You guys were pinned down at the 1-yard line at one point. You guys ran 2 quarterback sneaks up the middle with Robert instead of Jake, who's, you know, typically been the guy that you've done that kind of stuff with. And you guys gained about a yard before there was 3rd down. It was 9 yards.
Sure.
What was kind of the thought process?
Yeah, you know, you just you have to really get a great self-scout because they don't do the same things when they see 4 run in that they do 5. And just pretty much thinking if they see 4 run in, then you really have no shot at the quarterback sneak. So just trying to keep people off balance so that they can't, call their defense predicated on that.
There was a missed field goal, and at one point you guys were down by 10, which if you guys hit the field goal, you're within the touchdown, and that's a pretty big swing there.
Sure.
And the field goal, has been struggling this year. I think you guys are 2 for 6. How do you move forward with that situation? Does that?
Well, if I remember correctly, I think we then came back and made a field goal after
Right.
we missed one. So I think that a nice job by Joe Pierrick and that unit to stay, mentally strong and come back and bang all the extra points and get us a field goal. So we just got to keep, keep improving and trying to get them in as many pressure situations as we can. In the preseason, I brought the band down to practice and had them play during field goal. So maybe we'll do that again this week to replicate some pressure.
Coach, just take us into the game. You guys are down early, 3 touchdowns at around the 5-minute mark. What's the message that you're telling your team, all special teams, defense, offense? But what is it?
You know what the best part was? Nothing. The seniors started saying the same message that I've been saying for 2.5 years about playing the next play and playing for, never giving up, playing for pride, for themselves, for each other. So I just kept echoing what they're saying, what I used to have to say. So.
On the defensive end, Fuller passed for 315 yards, actually below his season average. So what did you kind of see out of the defense today in the secondary?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part of the question.
So Fuller passed for 312 yards.
Yeah.
I think that's below his season average. Kind of what did you see out of the defense in the secondary in particular?
I thought it's too bad we kind of gave away the first touchdown, and then you're playing from behind. But the kids did a great job rallying. You saw some batted footballs, and we just tried to confuse them and trying to give them as many different looks as we can while still putting our kids in the best position. Kind of like I was joking around with the Colgate kid. I didn't realize he was a junior. I was joking with him after the game, like, hey, are you going to graduate? He's like, well, I'm only a junior. But Marcus is a 5th-year senior, so it'd be nice to see him get his diploma and move on to the world.
Obviously, we mentioned earlier about how you have a committee of players who contribute to the running game. How optimistic does this make you moving forward, knowing that once you get the full strength back and you can also rely on those who stepped up today?
Yeah, I think that being a former offensive lineman, I'm really biased. I'm going to say that it has a lot to do with them. But no, also with the running backs, for sure. And I think that slowly and surely, it's in my belief, in my core, that a successful football program is one that can run the football. And I think today was a positive, in that category, a very positive step forward for us to run the ball like we did with a stable of backs. And I know those guys, Sweet, Galatly, and Brown certainly have been itching, never wishing anybody was not in the lineup, but I know itching for the moment to show what they have. So I think that it really bodes well for the future.
Jack, Coach talked a lot about senior leadership today. I was going to get your take on what you saw in your seniors.
From the seniors?
Yeah.
I think we've been getting tremendous leadership from the senior class all year. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of guys, which has ended up being really good for us because they're leading us in times like today out on the field where everybody can see it, but they lead us so much off the field in times when people can't see it as well. In the weight room, in the film room, seniors are watching film so much. Seniors are pushing guys in the weight room all the time to stay in shape, and I feel really fortunate to be playing under the senior class. There's so many contributors on the field, so many guys that I think are helping build the right kind of culture that we want to have here. So I feel very lucky to be a young guy around these seniors.
When you guys have kind of a running back core without Luke and Chris that goes kind of 3 deep, how important is that to the success of being able to establish that passing game? Because once you guys kind of got the running game going there in the second half, Robert was able to find his lanes.
There's no question, and that rings true. When you're able to run the football, the play action pass becomes deadly. The quick game becomes deadly because you're going to see a lot more 8-man fronts. You're going to see soft and off coverage. You're going to have the access you want. So it's paramount to unlocking everything we want to do.
what kind of improvement do you want to see out of Robert? I mean, he is a junior. He's going to be here for another year.
Sure.
So between now and the end of the season, what kind of jump did you hope to see in him?
Well, I want to see him, not go backwards. So I want to see in the next couple games. I want to see the scrambling, the decision making, the poise. And no different than any other position. We want to keep seeing them improve, but I thought he did some nice things today. Keep making the right decisions, read the right coverage, and just keep progressing with our offense. And what's the rule of the World Series that's about to happen? The pitcher's best friend's the double play, the quarterback's best friend's the run game. There's no doubt about it. So I want to keep that going to help him and Jake.
Anything else, guys?
I mean, moving past this game, you have a tough road trip, I guess, back-to-back away games for Princeton and Dartmouth. Dartmouth being the ranked at 25 now. But how are you planning to prepare for that? And what is it is there anything in particular that you're looking to improve upon, looking back at not only this game, but the previous weeks past leading up to the next 2 weeks?
This is going to sound, like a broken record, but I want to see us put it all together. I want to see what this team looks like when they play to their potential for 60 minutes. And Princeton and Dartmouth Dartmouth in particular has done an unbelievable job of methodically, systematically rebuilding their football program. They have the most number of Ivy titles of anybody. I mean, they've come back strong after some years of adversity. But in spite of that, I really believe in these kids and I believe in our staff, and I want to see what it looks like when it's put together for the full 60. And so that's what my goal is each and every game to get that.
So is there anything in the practices that you'll be honing in on specifically, or is it just kind of keeping up what you've been doing for the entire season?
Yeah, we focused this week on trying to compete and win the deep balls, and I think it helped a little bit, and we'll probably do that. But then also you're at the point of the season where these are college kids, and you have to sometimes less is more, and so we'll taper back what we do to make sure we're as fresh as possible for Princeton on national TV on Halloween, and then Friday Night Lights up in Hanover, and then back here for the Empire Bowl on Senior Day, and then down at Franklin Field for the Trustees Cup. So man, it doesn't get any better. You know what I mean? It doesn't get any more exciting than the last 4 games we get.
Is it tough for you when the team's 0-6 and you're in your third season as the head coach to not have the win record that you probably want?
The thing about that, June, is it doesn't have anything to do with me, and it has everything to do with building Cornell football. And so I look at this as whatever happens, that we try to take any adversity that comes our way and make it a building block to building this program the way I want it. So, I'm certainly, people that focus on the record or statistics, I don't. And I told the team to not do that either. I don't look at it, and I just look at how do I, number one, provide these kids with the best possible experience, and then number two, how do I build what Harvard and Dartmouth have for my alma mater.